Welcome, everyone. How's everybody doing? I'd like to welcome everyone to the Goffstown Lions Club Candidates Night. It's a long tradition for the Goffstown Lions Club to host this event. It's an opportunity for candidates to speak about why they're running for elected office in Goffstown. And it's also an opportunity for you in the audience to ask those candidates some questions. So before I turn it over to our moderator, Fred Plett, I want to thank all the Lions that are in attendance. And I also want to plug one of our upcoming events. On April 11th, the Goffstown Lions Club will be sponsoring an event called Spring Fest. And that'll take place here at Goffstown High School on April 11th between 10 and 4 p.m. It's going to be a great event. We have a kids zone in the back gym with bouncy houses and slides and laser tag. In the middle gym, we're going to be having 4 restaurants. So we have a little food court. And then we're going to have vendors, over 70 vendors in the main gym. And we're going to have community groups in the front hallway and also in the gym lobby. So if you're looking to get out of your house, but you're probably all cooped up from all of the snow, this will be a wonderful event for everybody in the entire family. And you'll also be helping a lot of Goffstown businesses by checking them out as well. So, 3-point opening? 3-point opening, Fred? Fred was just relieved of his duties as moderator tonight. Taking his place will be Brad Parkhurst. No, I'm only kidding. So I'm going to turn it over to Fred Plett.
Okay.
Fred, you've been doing this is your first year,
yes.
Correct? Okay, and this might be your final year.
Okay. We usually start a Lions meeting with a pledge. So if we could say the pledge, please. And the flag is there's one right there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we as Lions have a greeting, and oftentimes it's with water, but we have no water. The greeting goes like this: not above you, not beneath you, but with you. So all of you, not above you, not beneath you, but with you. Lion Gordon, would you like to do an invocation?
I'm sorry, Fred, I don't have a prayer.
Okay.
No. May we be in the spirit of prayer, please. Dear Lord, once again we meet as a community service and look to the people who are going to lead us in the year to come, and perhaps more than one year to come. We look with favor upon. Please look with favor upon our our ministrations here tonight, and we'll have light refreshments. So, Glenn, please bless this food to our use, and us to thy continuing service. Amen.
Thank you, Lion Gordon. I'd like to thank GTV, who is taping this, and representing David Suter is from GTV doing the taping. And if I haven't broken his camera yet, you might see it tomorrow morning. I guess it's not live because there's 3 other events going on, and we don't take priority, apparently. But thank you, GTV. I put the program together, so I am responsible for all spelling mistakes, and I'm told there are a couple. It's Joan Konechny, not John, under cemetery trustee, and in the back it's Keith Allard, school board, not Keith Ballard. And I used to have Marie Boyle proofread this, but she's no longer with us, so I've got to find another proofreader. So it's all my error, those mistakes. I usually start out moderating duties with a bit of a speech. It won't take more than 3 hours. No, just a couple of ground rules. And in the past, as when I do it for the town, it's essentially the same thing, much shorter here, a Cliff Note version. We're meeting the candidates tonight, and it is entirely appropriate for you to ask questions of the candidates, find out what they're coming from, how they would handle different issues. That's appropriate and good. If a candidate happens to come from a different viewpoint than you, assume that the candidate, he or she, has the best interest of the town or school in mind. even if it's different than your viewpoint, you just see things through different lenses, that's all. So polite questions are more than welcome. Personal attacks are not. Speeches are not welcome, and I will cut off any speeches, any personal attacks. I was told not to use ad hominem, but personal attacks. Any impugning of motives will not do. So with those ground rules, we'll start. I understand, well, you could take this in the order I present here, but I understand I've already had one request for Budget Committee. Let's see, where are you? No, Lori, Dan Cloutier, School District Treasurer, that's what I'm looking for. Dan, would you like to come up because you got a time commitment? So we're going to take this out of order and do School District Treasurer, Dan.
Thank you very much, Fred. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having this evening. My name is Dan Cloutier. On the ballot, you'll see me as Daniel J. Cloutier. I graduated from New Hampshire College, currently called Southern New Hampshire University, in 1979. So I'm looking at some of the hair in the audience, and you can kind of recognize that. That was a long time ago, 36 years. I had a Bachelor of Science in MAS called Management Advisory Services. It's a complete bachelor's in both accounting and what they called MIS back then, Management Information Systems. So over the last number of years, that's what I've been pretty well doing. For the last 3 years, I've been honored to serve on the school board. I was elected 3 years ago. I have chaired the Administration and Finance Subcommittee for the last couple of years, so I look very intently at numbers and taking a peek there. For 9 years prior to that, I had the honor of being elected to the Budget Committee 3 times. The last 7 years, I was elected by my peers on the Budget Committee to be the chair of that auspicious little committee. And through the years, we had some great public hearings, and we had some more than interesting public hearings, but all of that had to do with finances. This year, I decided that there was a lot of time that was being spent and away from the family, so I thought I could stay inserted into the political arena by putting my name in as the school district treasurer. It is a job, it's statutory in nature. It tells us what to do. We look at the money, we sign the checks, we balance the checkbooks, we take a peek, and it gives me the opportunity to stay involved with the school, which I've done for the last 3 years. And I thank you, and that was it.
Thank you, Dan. The other candidate for that position, School District Treasurer Alyssa Winrow, could not be here, but she did provide a letter, and it says, "Thank you to the Goffstown Lions Club for hosting this candidate night. For reading my statement of qualifications, I'm unable to attend this evening. My name is Alyssa Winrow, and I've been serving the Goffstown School District as treasurer for the last 9 years. Through my work experience and education, I have a strong understanding of finance and accounting principles, managing banking relationships, and working with accounting professionals. Before taking some time off from my full-time career to stay home with my children, I worked as a loan analyst, operations accountant, product analyst, and director of product management for a payment processing company. Since then, I have not only worked as your school district treasurer, I have also volunteered as treasurer for several local organizations, including Mary Lou Preschool, the Mountain View Middle School, Parent-Teacher Group, and Goffstown Matters. I'm currently employed part-time as an accounts payable accountant and volunteer to coordinate the school district's Destination Imagination program. My educational achievements in finance, including Master of Science in Finance from Bentley University, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, concentration in Finance from University of Mass, Lowell, earned Certified Cash Manager status from Association of Financial Professionals, earned accredited ACH professional status from National Automated Clearinghouse. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I have a passion for education, and I hope to be able to continue using my financial skills to assist the town as school district treasurer. Sincerely, Alyssa Winrow." Normally, I go through the candidates and then we have questions after the fact, and I'd like to stay with that, with the exception, Dan, since you have a time commitment, if anybody has any questions of Dan or to pass on to Alyssa, please let me know. Any questions of Dan? Yes, Peter Gigantis.
Is he still a member of the school board?
Okay, you should come up with a question so that GTV can hear you.
Who do you you want me to go?
Right here.
Are you still a current member of the school board?
I am still sitting on the school board. We have one more meeting, which is on the Monday prior to the election.
Any other questions to include you? Seeing none, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes,
as we go forward, will there be a time limit on any of these presentations?
actually, that's a good idea, but I don't have a timekeeper. Would somebody like to volunteer?
Just on the honor system?
Yeah, I generally, speeches, presentations should be limited to no more than 3 minutes, so we get through this at a reasonable time. And I think I'll be able to tell when it's running on and kind of nudge people aside, perhaps.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on back to the original agenda, the original order, is Selectmen. I see Mark LeMay here. Is Collis Adams in the room? Seeing that he isn't, Mark, would you like to say a word or two? Running for Selectman.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the festivities here. I'm running for re-election this year for another term. It's a 3-year term. I'm on the downslide of my current 3-year term that I've had. During the 3-year term that I've had, I've worked diligently with the boards that we have or have had in keeping everybody's taxes down, everybody's budget down, and try to keep everybody's dollar value figure for the people at home in mind. I've sat on the CIP committee 1 year. I've sat on the budget committee 2 years. I've kind of worked the budget with both groups and looking at the CIP committee, what the CIP committee does and what the budget committee does. There's a lot of work that goes into the budget. It kind of gets through those two groups and then over to the Board of Selectmen. Also, this year is a good year. I'll say a good year for me as a selectman. I had the honors of sitting for 2 contracts, one for the police department and one for the dispatchers. We've got 2 contracts that are pretty much ready to go to be out to be voted this year with the people. I believe we acted in honesty and fairness to give the police department and the police dispatchers what they needed so that they could be very happy. And in turn, they did vote for the contracts amongst themselves. So now it's basically their turn to come back to us with the final answer. I've been in town pretty much all my life. I'm hitting the big 6-0 this year. I've lived pretty much right on the border all my life. I went to St. Edmund's School, went to West High School, then I came back into town. I've been a member of the Goffstown Fire Department now since 1986. Currently the rank of lieutenant, in charge of probably 10 or 15 guys at the Pinardville station. Currently married. My wife Denise is in the audience, married for 40 years. Not many people can say that anymore, but yeah, I've been married for 40 years. It's been a ride that if I had to do it again, yeah, I would probably do it again. It was a well worth it ride. I'm seeking re-election this year for another 3-year term. Hopefully, as I tell everybody, I was a freshman this year. I had a lot to learn. I had a lot to absorb. With the next 3-year term, hopefully I can be a little bit more active and continue to learn. I don't think the first, second, and third year you learn everything that there is to be a selectman. I'm looking to learn more this year, and I'm hoping that it works out in my favor. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for coming this evening. Have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Going on, Angela McKenzie is here. Angela?
Can I just confirm something with you first?
Pardon?
I just wanted to confirm when you said no speeches, that when you pick it up from the
No,
audience.
from them.
Just want to make sure that I'm on cue here. I'm just gonna over here. How's everyone doing this evening? I want to thank you guys for having me. This is my first time that I've come to the event sponsored by the Lions Club, and I feel very proud to be here and appreciative So I want to thank you all for coming, as well as inviting me. Also, I want to send a thank out for everyone here tonight who has the intentions of voting, as well as past candidates and future candidates. It takes a lot out of everyone, to have that kind of devotion, to have that kind of energy in you that you want to participate in the town. And it takes a strong person. So for everyone who has in the past and in the future, I think everyone should be appreciative and a sincere thank you. But moving on, I'm sure many of you are wondering what department of local government that I worked in, and the simple answer is, to be honest, none. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I have no preconceived notions of what a politician should say or what they should do. I mean, for the past 8 years, I've cultivated my biggest fans as opposed to being in political fields, and that's my 2 little girls. And during these 8 years, I grew frustrated towards the way things were in all 3 government branches while I was with them. And for those reasons and the thirst for change, it prompted me to maintain Dean honors while working on my bachelor's degree in political science, criminal justice, and I'm still working on my Juris Doctorate. I'm here tonight, like all of you, because I have a passion to see Goffstown at its best, to marvel at how a small farming community can grow with its citizens and adapt to a diverse and a complex time. Goffstown is now more than a town, just as New Hampshire is more than a state. It is a strong community environment that focuses on neighbor helping neighbor, and the celebration of our heritage and the encouragement of a strong future. It's not the location of Goffstown that gives birth to inspiration and the dreams, but the citizens who breathe life into it. As a devoted parent stays up all night combating their child's fever, and it's a person who works 2 jobs in Goffstown to try just to make ends meet. And it's the strong and resilient men and women who risk their lives each and every day. Whether it's the fire department, paramedics, they've laid their lives on the lines. Every citizen is vital to the makeup of this town, and every citizen is guaranteed protected rights as promised under the Constitution, and we are obligated to give that to them. Just as we are guaranteed protected rights, we do have the duty to uphold them. Contributing to the community could be running for office, or it could be simply voting, which is just as important. Just as Goffstown has cared and sheltered for me, I think it's important to give back to it. And many of you are well aware, if you've looked on the pamphlets, that I am running for Board of Selectmen as well as Budget Committee. You may wonder yourself, well, what is she quite trying to accomplish here? And although I have full intentions of supporting my run for Selectman, I understand that to serve the community, to serve Goffstown, means to go wherever they're expected and wherever I'm needed to be. So if it's not needed in Selectmen, then it may be needed in Budget, or it could simply meet as a concerned voter that I'm here with you all today. And the men and women in charge of these departments, and they breathe life every day, whether it's the police departments, whether it's the paramedics, whether it's the fire departments. The primary goal is Selectmen, or at least in my eyes, Selectmen needs to work with them. They live these jobs. They do them every day. If they're not the smartest person, then let me take that back. They are the people that should be delegated for these positions. We need to work with them, hand in hand. We need to be able to delegate the duties with them. If we cannot trust them to make the best decisions for their department, then we need to analyze the structure to begin with. But I fully am confident the fact that these people are there for a reason. And I just want to finish off with saying that Selectmen, focusing on our budget is important, but focusing on our future is vital. The growth and education of our children would mean the growth and longevity of the community. And taking time to invest in our future today through community programs, as long as working together as a unit, single divided unit, that these programs, through education and town parks, invites a prosperous future, including for our children. I want to thank you all, and I appreciate it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. Going on to Budget Committee, James Butcher is not here, correct? Okay. Angela, did you want to say anything more as Budget Committee?
I said my piece.
Okay. Cemetery Trustee, Joan Konieczny, are you here? Did not think so. Library Trustee, Carl Foley, I know is not here. Kathy Holt is not also, but she sent a letter. So I'm going to read her letter. This is for Library Trustee, 3 years, Kathy Holt. To the participants at the Candidates Night and the voters watching at home via GTV, I'm disappointed that I'm not able to be there tonight. Although I am retired from my lifelong career in education, I still work a few hours per week working with educators and future educators. Tonight, I am coordinating a workshop for teachers on Google and Google Apps for educators. First, let me thank the Lions Club for hosting Candidates Night, providing an opportunity for candidates on the many Goffstown boards to provide voters with information about who we are. I have lived in Goffstown for 20 years with my husband and mother-in-law and our new-to-us dog that we got from the Humane Society. I also volunteer with the American Cancer Society Road to Recovery program, driving people to their appointments, and also work with special needs students in foster care, making sure that they receive an appropriate education. I ran for the position of library trustee because I believe libraries provide a community service for all people, regardless of income, ensuring, among other things, that they have access to information, resources for reading for pleasure, and a place to meet to share ideas with others. Today's resources may be in the traditional form of books or magazines, in the form of internet resources or ebooks. They may be workshops such as tonight's The Language of Dogs and Cats, or the upcoming Human Library to be held again this spring. The need for information is increasing rapidly, and the library is available to help people find what they want. I'm committed to making sure our library continues to meet the needs of our growing number of patrons as best we can within a reasonable budget. We're able to do so because of the great staff we have and the additional help we receive from volunteers who give of their time, their resources, and their money to provide these services to you. I've enjoyed serving as one of your Goffstown Library trustees for the past 3 years and hope you will vote to support me for another 3-year term. Thank you, Kathy Holt, candidate 3-year term library trustee. And she gives her address. Thank you. Moving on, library trustee Gary Meehan, are you here? Planning board, Tim Redmond, are you here? Sewer commission, James Bouchard, I know is not here. Zoning board of adjustment, Joanne Duffy, are you here? Zoning board of adjustment, Kathy Champagne? Len Stewart, I know you are here. I saw you earlier. Len, would you like to come up and say a word or two?
Probably more than a couple of words. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Len Stewart. I've lived in Goffstown since 1990, moved here from Long Island. I'm a forcibly retired newspaper man, meaning they kicked me out. Fortunately, I'm now working for the state of New Hampshire in a public information officer position. I do media, publications, press releases for a state agency up in Tilton. My background in zoning, I've been on the zoning board for most of the last 5 years, 2 or 3 years as an alternate. I served an elected 1-year term from 2013 into 2014, and I did not seek re-election in 2014 because of some changes in work obligations. I look at the service on the ZBA as a way of giving something back to the community. I raised my children here. I have a son and a daughter, both of whom are graduates of this school. And I think it's very important to bring an unbiased, analytic approach. So much of what we deal with on the Zoning Board of Adjustment involves sometimes some fairly nasty neighborhood disputes. I think it's very important to adjudicate those things with an open mind, an analytic approach, and applying some common sense to the interpretation of sometimes what are very complex zoning regulations. And again, I just give this service because I think it's important to give back to the community that has supported me and my family for the time that we've lived here. And that's really all I've got to say.
Thank you, Lynn. Going on to school candidates, Keith Allard, are you here? Okay. Lori Cloutier? Jenny McKinnon, I did not see. Joanne Duffy, still not here. Jim Raymond, you are here. You're supposed to sit up with the candidates.
I thought it'd be cool. So
There you go.
I gave him an exemption.
Hi, I'm Jim Raymond. I'm running for re-election as school moderator and taking some time out from my hard-fought ground campaign against my vigorous opposition. But I wanted to come before you talk about not that, but frankly, it's a pitch for the importance of the school meeting and the town meeting. I know I'm preaching to the choir talking to this group, but it's really important. And I'm watching the attendance at both dwindle from year to year, in part because the school board and budget committee did such a good job, they reached an agreement. But there's really three reasons. First, and I'm going to use Fred as the example. You know, when he serves as assistant town moderator, he often has to run the meeting. Fred spends all year thinking of the jokes that he's going to tell, and they fall flat if nobody is there. So please, for Fred's benefit, come. Second, though, as you know, at the meetings, school meeting and town meeting, you can amend. And if only 60 people are at the meeting, a small group can show up, move to amend a warrant article that there's general consensus on, vote it through, and that's what goes on the warrant. So there's a very large risk if people get complacent and don't come. So please, as a defensive measure, even if you support the selectmen or the school board, please come. Third, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, in the good old days, there was a legislative process where you heard both sides of the discussion, the argument. And there are always two sides. And we expect our legislators in Concord to listen to both sides and our Congress people in Washington to listen to both sides and make a reasoned decision. The town and the voters in their infinite wisdom adopted the Official Ballot Act. So now you can show up at election day, have heard nothing, and vote on matters that really, if you think about it, affect you more. You're more affected by our ability to plow snow, educate our kids, provide recreation, than you are by anything that happens in Concord or Washington. Yet we allow the people to vote having heard nothing. And I find that, I guess, troublesome. School meeting and town meeting are an opportunity to hear arguments. So at least when you come, you know what you're voting on. So I'd ask, not you people, you come, but everybody else, please come. Mostly though, so Fred's jokes will fall on ripe ears. Thank you.
I'll have to talk to you about the jokes. We've run through our list of candidates who are here. Are there any questions of any of the candidates that people would like to pose? Yes, Steve Brzezowski, come up. You can pick it from here, but I think the audience may want to hear too.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. Yeah, I've got a question for the selectmen candidates and for the ZBA. There's a lot of talk about increasing the tax base, the property tax base, bringing businesses and encouraging more companies, corporations, and all to come into Goffstown. But how do you, what would you do to kind of balance that impact against the environmental and traffic and other issues that have to be part of that whole equation? And not only that, but what can we do to inspire more businesses to come to Goffstown, given those restrictions?
Who'd like to handle that?
Okay.
I saw your hand first, and we'll follow Angela McKenzie.
Thank you very much.
Make sure I didn't drop it.
You're messing with me now. Thank you, and I do appreciate that question. It's really important to realize, I'm sure we all open up our property taxes and you're faint or if not want to cry. But at the same time, we need to realize, how do we maintain the small environment, but at the same time expand to go with future? And I can't help it every time, especially when I'm dropping my children off at school, I drive by Glen Lake, and, during the fall time, the leaves are changing and it's glistening off, the lake, and it's so beautiful. And we have these really nice, thanks to Parks and Rec, we have these really nice trails, biking trails, walking trails. Maintaining that small town feel while improving finances doesn't have to come with massive buildings or pollution. I mean, simple, starting slow with tourism, I think on a small basis would be a great small project to see where it goes from there. Perhaps bicycle rentals. We can put in a small, and then to go with that, snowshoeing during the winter months. try to bring in more tourism, but at the same time trying to reduce our carbon footprint. And obviously it comes to the point where all these people are going to be coming in. But if we encourage the fact of using these natural trails, to be able to encourage the fact of using the nature around us, we have beautiful mountains, we have the beautiful lake. I think that if we use our natural resources to our advantage, that we can increase our finances without making too much pollution or our carbon footprint. So thank you.
Mark LeMay, I saw you about a half a nanosecond behind Angela.
I was thinking what I was gonna say, but here we go. From a selectman standpoint, to the point where I'm sitting now, we currently sit together with the Economic Development Committee. We sit and we try to plan what's good for the future of the town of Goffstown. Yes, we all want to see development come into town. Yes, we want to get the taxes lowered. And is it right in bringing more business in to get our taxes lowered? Yes and no. There are always two sides to that story. Angela mentioned the pollution. Yes, there's pollution. We have more cars, more trucks, more traffic, more things coming into town. But if we don't do something and we continue to bring only the houses in, we, the residents of the town of Goffstown, will bear the blunt of the taxes. There are two sides to that, and I'm kind of the firm believer that we should look for businesses to come into the town, but we're a very unique town. The river divides the town. We have one way in, one way out. Our services are really not where they should be. Water doesn't kind of go through the entire town. We don't have gas lines or natural gas lines that go through the entire town. Our services and our settings that we have are not always right for bringing in businesses. I'm in favor of taking the buildings that we have today currently, Shaw's Plaza, the Villa School, and other empty buildings around, and let's fill those buildings with businesses first before we start adding buildings to the town. We have enough vacant buildings in this town, I think. If we were to add businesses, I think the places that we currently have now are good places for the businesses to start. Shaw's Plaza, for example, the Shaw's store itself is vacant, and there are probably 4 other stores alongside in that strip mall that are vacant. We could bring businesses into there. We could get things into there. Daniel Plummer Road's a good corridor. There's a lot of space up there that we could build some businesses. We can build the businesses where the business area is and not intermix with the residential areas and not pollute the residents with all the truck noise and things like that. So am I in favor of bringing business to town? Yes, I am. And if we use what we currently have here, I think we can do it without having a serious impact in building other buildings in this town. Thank you.
Thank you. And that question was directed to CBA as well. So Len, do you want to add something?
I'd like to take a crack at that.
Say that again, Steve.
Yeah, I would like to take a crack at that. I think basically from the zoning point of view, the ZBA can't and shouldn't be something that sets the economic development policy. I think that's something that falls to the purview of the selectmen, of the Economic Development Committee, of those town boards. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board. The cases that come before us are sometimes difficult. People tend to try and push the envelope on things. I think the best thing that the zoning board can do for the town economic development is to decide each case that comes before it fairly and on its merits, without a prejudice either toward, oh, okay, it's your land, do anything you want, or not building in my backyard. Every case is different. The facts in every case are different, and they need to be decided on the basis of what comes before the board. The selectmen, the planning board, the Economic Development Committee need to set the policy, and I view it as the role of the zoning or to interpret the policies that are set by the other town agencies.
Thank you. Before I go on with any other questions, Jim Raymond, last week I was in California and I saw my 14-year-old grandson, and he asked me, "Granddad, why can't you hear a pterodactyl go into the bathroom?" Does anybody know the answer to that? Because the P is silent. Okay. Any other questions of any candidate?
Fine for that.
If anyone doesn't know, we fine each other at our Lions meetings for comments like that, and I usually wind up paying $2 or $3 every meeting, but I enjoy it. A good source of income. Any other questions of the candidate? Gordon?
I
come
asked
here.
the Lions to find Fred. Would the Lions please find Fred Platt for his comments?
You want us to find him or find him?
Okay, any other questions? Yes, Lynn?
Just one for Angela, which is, in running for both offices, have you researched whether the offices of Selectmen and Budget Committee are legally compatible? If you were to win both cases, would you be able to serve in both offices? I just hand her the-
Okay. Pardon me a moment. Thank you for your question, Lynn. I appreciate that. We're having jacket malfunctions. Anyways, I did research it, and the Budget Committee as well as the Selectmen are not compatible offices. However, primarily my objective would be for Selectmen. I would prefer a select woman, but regardless, the Selectmen would be the primary goal. However, just like I stated before, just because I would wish something doesn't mean that me serving it would be in the best opportunity or the best role. So if the community feels that I would be best served somewhere else, then that is where I owe it to them. I'm here to help the community, and wherever that may bring me is where I will be more than happy to dedicate my time and effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, I want to thank you for attending our Goffstown Lions Candidates Night. We have lots of refreshments over there, and we don't want to take any of it home, so indulge. Have a good evening. Thank you.